Welcome back, Team Starlight. We have the finals for you today at WildCardCyclone. We have Z on the left playing Diva Hero and Declan on the right playing Plant Frogs.
Hello, everybody. So I started off with a T set, and I got a little tricky with my trap dust shoot, hoping he might put it back. So after he sets a card, I then flip the dust shoot and return his only monster.
Nice trick. Haven't seen that one before. So C sets a back row and passes it back. And at end phase, he activates the MST, hitting the Regeki break.
Yeah, so knowing what his hand is, we both opened up really slow. Like, I don't have many playable cards, so we're in this weird draw pass game state. And then he dust shoots me back. So if I finally top decked into the Lone Fire, that would have kind of got my game plan started, but alas, he puts it back.
Super unfortunate. Now you both kind of know what is in each other's hand, and you're a little bit free to go in for a big push if you're able to draw the cards you need.
It doesn't feel good giving Diva Hero like the opportunity to draw into all their combo pieces because it's a combo deck, and he finally does draw the Future Fusion, so his Miracle is live. I believe I also know he has brain control in hand, but I search Flip Flop Frog to be able to out this Absolute Zero.
That's a clean, a 1-for-1 out, but he does have 3 back row, and he does play Regeki Break and Phoenix Wing, so if it's any of those, it could mean trouble. So let's see what Z goes for here. He activates the return.
That was the one card I did not know in his hand that he had already set, I think, so. Or maybe I think I actually did know he had return. But he's gonna get a search off here. I ended up setting my Treeborn Frog that was in my hand instead, because I think I knew he had the return. And so I figured if he thought it was a flip-flop frog, he might go for some sort of play to out it without flipping it. So I actually thought he was going to go into Dark End here, but after a little bit of a think, he goes into Thought Ruler.
Oh wow, he just has everything he needs, going for a big push.
Yeah, he had Brain, Miracle, Future Fusion, E-Telly. So yeah, but again, he goes for Colossal Fighter here, which I think was, I assume that he thought I set the flip-flop, so I thought this was an interesting decision here to go for this play.
Yeah, he said screw it, no fear. So he hits with the Ab-Zero now, and you drop the Gores.
Yeah, thinking about it, I just thought I didn't really want to take all this damage. And I'm gonna have to out the Absolute Zero eventually, which will clear my board, no matter what. So I just decided to drop it on the first attack.
Yeah, I think that's a big Colossal Fighter too. He has Straddles in Grave. So here you finally get a combo.
I top deck Substitute, and I have double Pot of Avarice in hand, and based on the way Z's talking to me, he's basically saying like it's all good. So I know this is gonna put me right back in the game because I'm gonna be able to, go +2 with, +1 for each Avarice in my hand, and then depending on what I draw, it might get even better and better. Let's see. I top deck the Foolish, so that's yet another +1. So I just say, okay, I'm going to tribute both of the tokens that I get off of the Dandelion to keep going here.
Yeah, that Ab-Zero is still a pretty big problem.
So there we go. The second Avarice.
So you drew into the Gores again. It's always... It's the nice thing about Pot of Avarice is you can recycle the Gores.
Yes, and also it's nice that I didn't take that extra damage, so now it's like Gores will be very much live if this game continues to drag on. So I go for the 1-for-1 that was in my hand simply because I only am running one Fishborg in this deck, and I needed to get the Fishborg in the grave. So I could have done that in a few different ways, but I just decided to play the 1-for-1. And then here I go for a Black Rose Dragon with my dupe on the field. And then because, you know, Z doesn't have anything that actually protects his board, like a Stardust or something, it actually is going to go through, which is huge for me. So at the end of Set Miracle?
Yeah,
I didn't see it.
I think it was. That's crazy to set such
That's
a power card.
Yeah. At the end of the whole thing, I get an extra normal from the swap frog that I bounced. So I extra normal the flip-flop frog, but when he Sangan attacks, I just decide not to give him the Sangan back because I had Caius in hand.
Yeah, those Pot of Avarices really allowed you to flip the game because you were really behind.
So yeah, I go for game with special summoning the swap frog, and thankfully I know the last card in his hand is Brain Control. So in the moment I actually forgot, I'll admit. But I was like, I hope he doesn't have Gores with one card in hand. But it was still the Brain from turn 1.
A lot of plays happen between that Trap Dust Shoot to that last turn.
Yeah. So he goes for the Dyna here on turn 1, which I always think is... This is like an interesting little mini game that happens with when people just summon their Dynas really early in the frog match, because usually I'm going to have a Substitute or a Dupe Frog in hand that I can just set, and then they have to get over it somehow without special summoning. So here I go for Swap Frog, but he has the Rug, so I just pass it back. And the onus is kind of on him to out my card, and because I have a few different ways I can out the Fossil Dino eventually.
Yeah, and he doesn't have any monsters that can hit over the dupe without special summoning. So unless he has like a discard trap, then it's going to stick for a while.
And here you're going to see me actually be the one to start to apply pressure, where I summon the Unifrog, and it forces this Wing Blast out of him. He targets my back row, and I think it's a discard trap, so I'm deciding if I want to chain it. But ultimately, I make the decision to just let it go, because I don't want to out his Dyna yet, because then, I don't know, he might combo off on me on his turn. So I just let it go.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But unfortunately, Z's got the Brain Caius, which is always the perfect out. So I take 1 billion damage here, and I'm in a pretty tough spot.
Yeah, I don't think it would have mattered if you activated the Karmika that he put back.
Yeah, I stand by that one. So I mean, I have Brain Control back, so that's pretty nice. And then because I'm able to out his Fossil Dyna, I then have the 1-for-1, which I can now resolve. So this, I was feeling pretty good at this point because I think Z only has like a few cards in hand. We're like about even. The only difference is I'm a lot lower on life. Oh yeah, I remember this now. I think I just like lost track of how many dupes I had because one of them was banished and I usually play 3. So I kind of messed up here, I think. I remember not. I think I had a dupe in hand and a dupe banished. So I summoned this Death Frog and then I realized I can't tribute it off to keep going. So this is a bit of a misplay on my part.
And here goes the resolving future fusion again.
Yep. So this is gonna be pretty tough. I think I saw Diva in his hand. Oh, and I also see E-Telly. So yeah, again, see with the future fusion, E-Telly, brain control. It's gonna be pretty hard to withstand this push.
Grabs the Gilman.
Yeah, he's probably just thinking getting the Gilman will kind of guarantee game here. I think there has to be a way to go for game here, I imagine. Yep, so there we go. E-Telly. And he goes for the Mistworm with that. And we're just gonna put everything back.
Makes sense now why he grabbed the Gilman.
So we are on to game 3 now.
Got the swap opening.
Yep. Let's see. Do I set anything or just pass it? I decided to just pass. So this is risky in a Kaiku era. I always hate doing this, but I decide to just risk it for the biscuit. And thankfully, all he has is a Krebon, so my Treeborn Frog is going to stick. Oh, just kidding. He Karma Cuts pitching Plague Spreader to out it.
Oh wow, I saw he has Soul Release in his hand too.
But here we go. I get the Soul Exchange that I think I'm maybe maining one, siding one. So I just go for it here because I don't want him to potentially use that Krebon's some synchro play on his turn. So I just summon the Vanities, and I usually hate actually bringing it out this early in a game. I like to kind of grind through the opponent a little bit and then drop it in a low resource game state, but it was kind of the only play I had. So I just went for it.
So he has 4 cards in hand now. He sets a back row and passes it back. You end phase Regeki break the bottomless trap hole.
Yep, so it's a pretty good sign that he set that bottomless, like, unless he's just baiting out what he assumes to be a discard trap. What I think it really means is that he just doesn't have outs, because if he had a real out, he would have set that most likely. So I'm in a good spot here. I have a Vanities, I have 2 protections. We're in a draw pass, or he's just draw, setting a monster passing. So I'm getting a ton of advantage off of this Vanities Fiend through battle.
But he has the heavy. Still only has 3 cards in hand, so he can't special summon anything.
Yeah, when he heavied and passed, I was just thinking, okay, like that's pretty good. I was worried about, follow up with the heavy, but I think I might have another piece of protection for the Vanities.
Summon the Uni and hit in with Uni and Vanities.
Yeah, I think and then here he top decks Brain. And so I said thinking on res as soon as he brain controlled this. And I opt to just tribute my Unifrog to take the Vanities back because I don't want him to like tribute it or some sort of thing. So this is a pretty funny play. I don't think I've ever done that before.
I think that was a solid play. If he had the Caius, or even the Malicious to tribute it, he might have been able to come back, but he doesn't have a lot of cards in hand. So it might have been like a desperation play. He sets 2 and passes it back.
Yep, and
Oh,
I've been
now you
sitting
hit
on
him.
that heavy. So that's a good game
GG's.
from Z. I mean, it's not exactly the game 3 we wanted, but, you know, I'll take any win I can get.
GGZ.